This is crazy. We're back. We're back on YouTube. I can't believe this is actually happening. Before we jump into more of the chit-chatty part of the video where I explain sort of my plan for the YouTube channel, what have we been up to? A lot of you have been commenting that you think the children have grown like weeds, which they have. I can hardly believe it. It's been about 3 to 4 months since I've been posting at least regularly. And so it has been like a really refreshing break that I needed more than I ever realized I did. And I'll talk more about that later. Lexi, my youngest, she is crawling now at high speeds all over the house.
Oh, there she goes.
Oh.
See my pom-pom, don't ya?
Xander is so thrilled because he informed me that he is now a baby trainer because he taught Lexi how to climb the steps.
That is not good. Whoop. Almost fell.
All of a sudden she's gonna lose balance.
Are you teaching her how to climb steps?
Yeah.
There she goes. Oh my goodness.
Lexi is now pulling herself up on everything.
There's the baby. Whoa. Whoa.
She's like a little tornado wherever she goes, just wreckage in her path. I am definitely a very busy mom, trying to keep up and keep after and making sure my house isn't torn to bits and pieces, which it still normally is. What about Xander? What is he up to? Well, he just turned 6. We made this little cart cake. I had this pan that I ordered on Amazon that was like a cake mold, and then we just decorated it. At first he wanted to help me, and then he realized it was kind of difficult, so he's like, you do it, Mom. And I decorated the cake for him, and he just loved it, so that was fun. And then I did the traditional interview, like in the past, starting at 2 years old. That one was a little bit staged, but we did like a birthday interview every year since. What's your name?
Xander.
How old are you today?
6.
What's one of your favorite memories?
Going to Switzerland. I'm seeing the cowbell parade. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong.
Also, I can hardly believe it. We are gearing up for preschool. For a lot of people, this seems a little bit strange because preschool is usually started at the beginning of the school year, but some of our schools do not. We would tend to have more preschool type things at home, and then they go to the school to do sort of this preschool test for, in the case of Xander's school, it's 4 weeks, twice a week. And if they pass that test, and then they will go to 1st grade. And so that is starting up here soon, and I have very mixed feelings, as usually first-time moms do. So my husband, what's he up to? Well, he's definitely the steady rock that has been keeping the whole family together like he normally is. Today he is toppling down a tree out in the lawn.
That's good you weren't hurt.
Xander was just sure his arrow was up in the tree because he had this bow and arrow and he lost it up in the pine tree.
You sure it's in the tree? You see it?
Couldn't find it, sadly. I have been using this time off to catch up on a ton of personal things. I have also been working at a little secret that I can't wait to share with you all. I'm really excited about it, but I can't really say anything about it yet, but I'm meeting with some people, designing some things, so that has been taking up a lot of time as well. Plus, just simply keeping after my little 10-month-old tornado all day long. All right, let's chat a little bit. This is just pretty much for my followers who've been following the journey and know sort of the things I've been battling with the last year, just questions I had regarding the YouTube channel. Is it wise to continue? Is it something that's good for my family? Is it something that's good for me? Is it something that I can balance? There were just so many questions, and I was literally burnt out more than I ever realized until I took a step away from it. And I had like 3 to 4 months of basically no creating, no posting, nothing. But it was just a lot to juggle. And though I often felt like I was kind of on top of it, I still wasn't really. And I just felt like it was especially more of a head thing where I was just constantly feeling like, here's the pile of things I have to do, and I'm just kind of always trying to swim and keep up. And I know that many of us always feel that way, like the work is just never done. But there's something with a YouTube channel, the process of creating and trying to be creative, kind of putting yourself out there in this type of way is mentally exhausting sometimes. Creator burnout is definitely a real thing, but more than just burnout, I was just questioning so much. I'm like, is this something I need to be doing full time? And I'm not just going to go over all these questions again, but is it something that God wants me to do? Is it wise for my family? And so we prayed a lot about it, and we asked a lot of advice. And I just want to say thank you for everyone that reached out and gave me your words of advice. It helped so much. I got that many emails and messages, so kind, caring. A lot of you supported whichever decision I would make. A lot of you gave advice. So I kind of felt like more in my personal life, some of my personal contacts, friends, family, some of that is usually often, and it's not just me, it's anyone that does this, it's usually where you're going to get the biggest feedback from that really matters, whether positive or negative. And I had definitely some negative feedback and some criticism, and I wanted to take it seriously and consider. I came to the point where I was like, okay, this YouTube channel is something that I have worked really hard on for 4 years. It's a blessing in many ways. It's a blessing financially. It gives us a little bit extra as a family, as a stay-at-home mom, and make some extra income. I have met so many amazing people. That has been incredible. Hearing testimonies from people has been such a huge blessing. It's been a creative outlet, something that I feel many of us mothers should really pursue. We need to have something that is our own, that's not just constantly children and other things. And I think there's a very fine balance in that. We need to make sure they're always first. But I think too often we as moms can become so consumed that we guilt ourselves when we take time for personal things. So I was so burnt out, and with like different things that have been happening, I was literally almost positive I was going to quit. But yeah, it was very hard for me to give up at the same time. But I was just like, my family is more important. Something has got to give. So I prayed a lot about it and talked to my husband, obviously. His opinion matters the most. And he was very encouraging that if I do feel I need to stop, he encourages that. But he was very cautious about just throwing it away. I just came to a place of full surrender. And you know, it's so often when we get to those places where God really shows himself, when we finally just surrender and give it all up, everything, all our wants and desires and what we think we have a vision for, and just everything, I just completely gave it up. If it's not meant to be, I'm done, and I'll just try to let it go. And if it's meant to be, there has to be a way that God can make a way to make sure I can do both and balance it well. After I quit, it was just this feeling that I can't quite describe. I want to put depression on it, but depression is a serious thing. And I have seen people struggling with like legit depression that, I don't know if I want to put the term depression on, but like a mild depression where I had no desire for anything. It was almost like my mind had been in such a rut of creating, making something else, thinking about what I have to do for the next week, what I have to film, what I have to make, and just this real high pressure. So when I was in this kind of low spot, without that pressure that I've been just doing for years, I suddenly just kind of fell flat. And even I had all this time on my hands, yet my house, I think, got worse than it ever was before. The motivation wasn't there. And it's like, well, if I get it done today, who cares? If I don't, who cares? There's always tomorrow. I have no pressure. I have nothing, no deadlines. I woke up in that moment and realized, I am the type of person, I do need something, and it actually makes my other life flow better too. So like, in other words, managing my house is sort of my top priority, that and children. That has to get done. It doesn't always, obviously, but I'm saying like on a broad spectrum, that's what I plan to do. I tend to think in my mind, okay, if I can get my responsibilities finished, then I can focus on, say, the YouTube channel or creating or whatever it is I'm doing. And it almost makes me work better in all other realms. It keeps me kind of focused and scheduled, and I think things get done faster. It's just learning how to bring that into balance. So that was something I kind of learned about myself through this whole thing. And I'm jumping all over the board, but going back to coming to that full surrender, And then also speaking of this valley and just understanding kind of who I am and also having just come to that place of surrender, amazing things started to happen. I started to get so much support from people that some people I thought were completely against it. Yeah, it was just really random. Just the randomest people would reach out. People that knew me personally said they were praying for me, and they would like speak different words of wisdom and advice to me and their perspective on the channel. The more this kept happening, and the more I prayed, and the more I just felt God's peace, just feeling that peace of God, a little bit of direction, just little bits and pieces at a time. And the more I'm like, you know what, I think God is pointing me in this direction, there would just be more affirmations. And things just started falling into place. And Nolan and I just kept talking about more of our vision, about the children, especially on the channel. What do we feel about that? To be honest, after I went through all that, I'm like, okay, I do need to start. But I was so enjoying this new kind of just no schedule. And I actually found myself loving it. There's just so much time to do all these other things and my personal projects and really no deadlines. I actually learned how to really treasure that. And so part of me was like super excited to get back into YouTube. Another part was remembering kind of that stress and that constant pressure. And so when I held these two things, I'm like, okay, I do not want to lose what I found in stopping being so stressed out and stopping this high productivity. This is something that I always have to hold myself in check with, because I kind of am a visionary and I get these new ideas and I want to just jump into them full force and just forget everything else until it's accomplished. And so different things. I'm just not talking about YouTube. So that's something I always have to rein in. I just really enjoyed the more low-key aspect. And I want to learn how to maintain that all my life. It's just a balance I'm throwing out there that I'm trying to recognize and deal with. What was the other thing in this? When I hold these two things, I want to always make sure I try to balance them. So in that, we're back. So my plan is, as far as this YouTube channel, I have a few different kind of ideas. I'm just going to run through them all. Right now, I definitely want to do 2 videos a month, but I'm going to be shooting for 4. I'm still going to be shooting for every week, but as soon as it gets too high pressure, too high stress, I'm just going to drop a video. There's a few reasons I was always so like, I have to post every Friday. Is one, they say if you want to be successful with a YouTube channel where YouTube actually will keep recommending your videos, by the way, sometimes you're subscribed and they don't even recommend the videos to you anyway, they say you have to be consistent. That's a huge thing. The other thing was often when I skipped, I'd just have different people messaging me, are you okay? Is everything all right? You know, you're not here. Well, I really appreciated that. It almost sent me on a guilt trip. Like people are worrying about me that I don't have a video up. And so it just kind of sent me on this, like I have to post every week. But I realized it's not that way. So many of you commented that you would much rather I post once a month or twice a month or quarterly, someone even said, just to have every now and then something up versus like burnout. And I really appreciated that. And so that's kind of my plan. Definitely planning on 2, but I'm shooting for 4 a month. The other change I plan to make that I think I will be able to do 4 videos a month more easily. And I hope you enjoy this. I love having dialogue with other people and getting their perspectives and interviews, just random things. I know this is more like a podcast, and podcasts have like exploded all over, but I want to throw one of these in about once a month where I sit down with someone, whether it's my husband, y'all love like Q&As and chats. I want to do more with him and he's totally game. Or to have some kind of like just more inspirational chat, like sit down and let's talk about a Bible verse or something that's inspiring, something with purpose. And if it's not that, then other people. I have been having so much fun inviting some guests on that some of them I thought would never agree to talk on camera, and they did. And so I'm like, you know what, I should have been braver earlier and had more people ask them, you know, would you be interested in sharing your perspective? So I'm going to be having different guests and friends and people that I'll bring you along as I chat with them, and you'll see glimpses into their lives and perspectives and advice and different things like that. So when I do sit down chats with people, those videos are very quick as far as editing, so that really helps with the time crunch. So let me know in the comments if you like that idea. Last of all, I want to talk about the children. So are the children still going to be in videos? And the answer is yes. We're planning to kind of work our way through this carefully. It might kind of change over the time. I'm not 100% sure. We want to be careful as the children get older how much they're like the main part of the video. So the YouTube channel, I want it to be focused around my life as a mom, and the children are kind of part of our life, but not in the forefront of videos, unless we're doing like a family project or traveling. It's always fun to document the children and trips and daily life. But I do very much enjoy sharing family life and child moments. And I think so many of you relate to that. I know there's many mothers, many grandmothers. It blesses them to see children. But I also understand the dangers of that. And I also have seen many channels where they take extreme advantage of their children, or they use them in a way, I can't think of the word. There's a certain word when you basically take advantage of your children for your own gain. And that's never what I want in this channel ever, the purpose. I just want them kind of sprinkled in as like added spice. Because honestly, everyone wants to see the kids, right? Who wants to see me? But I want the majority of the channel to be mostly centered around me as the main person and them not so much. So the one thing that I'm concerned of is safety and putting ourselves out there online. But I have taken some measures on the back end of things to try to hide up some of our information. I'm not sure how effective it is. I know that some people can definitely get a hold of it if they want to, but I'm trying hard to kind of make it harder to find. But that doesn't worry me just huge yet. We're not a very big channel, but it only takes one person to be like super mean and come stalking a person or whatever. But I'm not too worried about that. It's like someone said, you know, who do we trust? Do we trust God to protect us? And if he wants us here, we have to trust him. I think there's responsibility on our parts, and then there's also some faith in there as well and trust. The second thing worried about children is the effects it has on children to be on social media. I'm not a fan of children having their own social media, or even young teenagers. I don't think it's good for them. And so I want to be careful how much I have them on. And then the other thing is I've told Xander different times, you know, we have this YouTube channel and we want to share Jesus' love with other people. We want people to see that we love each other and that we're a family that loves each other. Because some people don't know what that looks like, and maybe we can share Jesus' love with other people that way. And so I want him to understand more some of the purpose too behind videos, that it's not all just about, hey, look at our life. So another thing with the children, a piece of advice someone had given me, which was just gave me something new to think about. It was someone that had lived more in the public eye, and just gave her perspective that that's not always so bad. She just encouraged us in our situation not to let that stand in the way. Because right now we are living in a time where traditional families are just being fragmented apart, especially here in Western culture. I just feel like there's an attack on the family structure and what really makes a good, solid family. So like a father and mother figure in the home that love each other, love the children, peace and harmony. And obviously we're all human. There's lots of times when there's not peace and harmony. But when we're filled with God's Spirit, I think it shines so brightly, and there is something about the testament of a family that loves each other that shines more brightly, I think, in today's culture than a lot of other things. You can talk and talk and talk, but it's the walk that actually shows. And so I was encouraged different times that part is a ministry and is something that people find refreshing. To see that traditional structure, to see God's love in a family, to see peace and harmony. And some people just crave that and desire that for them in their life. And so that's one of the reasons we don't want to take the children out completely. It's kind of been one of my underlying goals of this channel. Is just, I love showing family life. Just the normal mundane. It doesn't have to be drama. It doesn't have to be all this hype that the world thinks you need for like all these titles and, you know, trying to get views, all this drama. Just a normal family life with little fun moments that we all experience, right? But I never want to take advantage of them and have them in uncomfortable situations. Like I've seen in some places where every little moment of their life is documented. If they're going through a hard time or a troubling time, something that's very upsetting to them, that here comes, you know, let's share it with the whole world, because to the parents it might look funny, but it's not funny to the child. So I want to make sure I'm really careful in that. I don't think I've ever really done that, and I hope I never do. But that's definitely a line I have pretty hard in the sand. Anyway, this video has gone on, and I've just been sort of like dumping out my mind, but I know that different ones of you that have been on the journey, with me. I just wanted to share with you kind of what I went through. To sum it all up, it was so worth going through this. Number one, I got to step back and just rejuvenate and refresh. And I also plan to maybe do that more often, maybe not on such a long span, but every now and then just be like, you know what? I'm not posting for 2 weeks or 3 weeks or maybe even a month because I need some downtime. We all need that. I am so much more at peace with continuing this channel. I feel so much better in various different aspects of my personal life that I'm not going to talk about. And I just feel like through this break, I've been able to process it through and get a little bit more of a vision and an understanding of, you know, why I want to continue. I'm so excited to be back. I really am. And I am just so excited to have you as a community here. You have just been amazing. You're the best like YouTube community ever, I promise. Like I read your comments and I'm just like, wow, I just do not understand why people keep coming back. Like we're just this normal little, well, normal to us, I guess in the aspect of society. We are Mennonite, so not so normal, but just kind of a normal little family that those family things, and our videos aren't exactly the greatest. And so I just really appreciate all your support and kindness and your reaching out and your care and concern over the months. It just means so much, and thank you. And as far as comments go, I try so hard to get to the comments, and I do read most of them. And I love when you share, and so many of you like really take time in your comments, and I just hate it so badly to just simply put a heart on it to let you know that I read it. But sometimes that's all I can do. How it is, you know, if you have to stop and type a reply for every comment, for over 100 comments or whatever, that takes a lot of time. And so a heart is pretty quick and lets you know that I read your comment. I would love to be able to reply to each one because it means so much to me that you reached out and gave me such a blessing. And I do choose to reply to as many as I can. Just, that's another thing I can't hold over myself. And I had been letting that go, is just to not feel like I have to reply to all the comments. But I so appreciate them and hope you don't stop. And for the next video, well, we found like this really awesome little hidden gem to go for a family vacation. So yeah, we did take a little trip while we were gone also. Just a wee little one. Didn't quite go as we expected. Some things came up, but we had free vouchers and we wanted to use them up. So that's why we went. But yeah, we'll be sharing that next week. So ta-da! Thanks for listening to my TED Talk. Bye.